Let's talk about the Peacemaker episode 8. This is the season finale. Before I get to it, I want to say that they did announce yesterday that the Peacemaker season 2 has been greenlit and it's going to be directed and written by James Gunn. And apparently he's going to direct and write every episode. Like, he's not just going to do a few, he's going to do the whole thing. And that's good news, even though I do wonder where the story's going to go. I mean, I'm excited because, Peacemaker has been the most fun I've had with a superhero TV show since Loki. It's been that much fun. And James Gunn has just a way with comedy. It's my kind of comedy, the way he does these things, and it doesn't feel forced. And John Cena's great. John Cena is funnier than he's ever been in his whole life. And the dude always had charisma, but it really shines here on the big screen. Well, not on the big screen, on the small screen, but it shined also in the Suicide Squad. This episode really was consistent with the Suicide Squad. It is the last episode of the season. It's Cow or Never. I liked what happened. The jokes were good. The humor was kind of interspersed throughout the episode. And in the middle of the episode, we had a really, really awesome sequence that was extremely violent. I mean, this was like Suicide Squad. It was on that level. It felt like, this really did feel like a big season finale. Although, if I'm being honest with you, part of me thinks that the show may have peaked with episode 7. I think that the previous episode, with what happened to Augie, the White Dragon and all that stuff, I feel like that's kind of where the show peaked. However, surprisingly enough, Augie appeared here in a vision in Christopher's head, and he shot the dart or whatever at the tree. I'm just happy Art Patrick is back, although I do feel like they could have done a lot more with that character. Like, I understand where they went with it as far as like him being killed and why it happened, and I understand his brother, and they really did reference that a lot in this episode, but I really wish that character was still around because he was funny even though he was screwed up. But when they meet the cow, they have this very interesting scene that I really loved. And I'm going to talk about the cameo here in a minute, but they had this scene where first of all, having Leota Adebayo put the mask on and rocket through the human, that was awesome. And then, but what I was going to say is, at the end, when you had, the butterfly, talk to him, and, the one that he had in the jar, and talk about how it got a little bit political, right? There was some political stuff here. I think some folks might be a little bit upset about that. I don't think it was really worth being upset about, because this is not personal politics being thrown in your face, but I do know that there's YouTube channels out there who review media who are constantly nitpicking everything that's even slightly political, and I don't care about that, yo. As long as I'm entertained, I don't care. Unless they don't, if they don't hammer it over my head, I don't care. And to me, I don't think it was a big deal. What I'm referring to is when they were talking about how your leaders are ignoring the fact that we're causing problems with the environment. That's been a political debate for a while. You guys know the debate, about green, energy and, what's going to happen in the future with the planet and who's going to be elected. Should we have this? Should we have that? They kind of did talk about that, but it wasn't over your head. It wasn't slammed over your head. And at the end of the day, even though they made you think, because I really thought that Smith was going to turn and join up with the butterflies when she was like, it's been a misunderstanding, this and that. We left the planet, and then he just kills her. I was like, damn. And then fired the blast to the cow or whatever. That was kind of surprising, because the whole thing was their I guess their philosophies, the butterflies and the Peacemaker, is very similar. That was unexpected. So I'm gonna watch it again, see if I missed something. Also, the cameo from Aquaman and Flash, dude. I laughed so hard. It's not a rumor. Fuck you, Barry. That was awesome, dude. I don't really know where the Peacemaker fits in with the DCEU. I don't know about these rumors that have been going around about how the Flash movie is supposed to retcon everything and start over again. I really hope they don't mess with this show. I say leave it the way it is. We've already got the Snyderverse as like an alternate timeline or whatever. That's not going to continue, but what was established like with Aquaman, Wonder Woman, like the good movies, Shazam, don't screw around with it. But DC is a complete mess. However, this show is not a mess, and I think it's because they're giving it to James Gunn. I really did find it interesting that Task Force X was publicly called out for the first time as the Black Ops unit. That was unexpected. I wonder what's going to happen going forward with Augie and Smith, because he seems to be, the way it's implied in like the final scene of the episode, it's implied that the like hallucination of his dad's gonna haunt him going into season 2. I hope so. I really hope so. I hope we find out more about that character. And also Harcourt. I was surprised. I thought she was dead. They really got me with that, because I wasn't like, I wasn't crying, but I was like, whoa, like shocked, like they're really gonna kill her off in the finale. Like I didn't expect that. I expected there to be some kind of like, maybe not really like a romance, because this is not that kind of show, but like, a little bit of sexual tension between the Peacemaker and her. And there kind of was, but like, it wasn't, they didn't do that. Now, one thing I found interesting in the episode was when they asked Adebayo, how come your last name's not Waller? He said, because I'm married. Oh, that makes you the chick in the relationship if you took her last name. He's like, no, we're both chicks. That's why we're called lesbians. That was funny, but because I've always wondered, like, a lot of lesbian couples get married and they don't change their names. They just keep whatever their birth name is. But then you have, like, one that does change their name. So I wonder how they decide that. Tradition would tell you the woman takes the man's name. That's a traditional marriage. But if it's 2 women or 2 men, how does that work? I'm guessing most people just keep their own name. But, I don't know every gay couple in there. I only know a couple gay couples. I know a few, but not like, it's not, they usually keep their own names. But that was kind of cool they referenced that. I do wonder if this is going to be the future of Suicide Squad going forward. If instead of us seeing a movie, we're going to have just James Gunn take over, and maybe season 2 we're going to have cameos from, Harley Quinn or Deadshot. I could see something like that happening, and just sort of keep the Suicide Squad story going through the Peacemaker. That way you don't have to like pay big money to get some of these actors. Like Margot Robbie is an expensive actress, bro. She's red hot right now. So if you don't want to pay, if DC wants to save money on that, you could bring her in for a couple of episodes here and there. Not anything too big instead of paying for a big budget movie. But then again, a movie might make them more money. Again, I'm not a finance guy with DC, but it's something to think about. I am excited for season 2. I'm going to be doing probably a full season review. I gotta think about what I'm going to say, but ultimately I really enjoyed this show, and I'm going to talk about what I liked and did not like about it in that review, but I'm very much looking forward to season 2. So what did you think about episode 8? Leave a comment. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you are new. I'll talk to you soon.